I'm a Georgia Bulldog till I die. Red and black running deep inside. Got that pride, you can see it in my eyes. Stand tall, yeah, we barking through the night. G-A, that's right.
Welcome back to the channel, YouTube gang. Y'all already know I'm your host, Major, and this is the Dog House. Before we get into anything, y'all make sure y'all hit that like button, comment, and subscribe. And y'all see the thumbnail, man. We talking about Hugh Freeze again. So Hugh Freeze has been fired from the Auburn Tigers. This is long overdue, guys. Like, I talked about it at least twice on my channel. You know, I know some of the fan base didn't like it, maybe because I got this Georgia hat on. And it is what it is, man. This is long overdue. He hadn't had much success with Auburn. You know, he's 15-19 overall, 6-16 in SEC games, man. Like, this team this season was horrible. You haven't beat any reputable teams, SEC teams this season. Like, the only team that they have beat this season is Arkansas, and we all know Arkansas is a horrible team. They're not good this season, so that doesn't really count. It don't amount to anything. And him being fired is stemming from this past Saturday losing to Kentucky 10-3, and this is pathetic, man. You didn't even score a touchdown against a bad Kentucky team. Kentucky is 3-5. They're not a very good team. Now, I know, compared to Auburn, they probably match up pretty well because neither one of these teams are really that good, but still, man, you couldn't even score a damn touchdown in this game, man. So popped it off in the first quarter. Neither one of these teams scored. The second quarter, each of these teams kicked a field goal. In the third quarter, Kentucky scored 7 points. Obviously, Auburn didn't score any damn points, and neither one of these teams scored any points in the fourth quarter. Ended score 10-3. Jackson Arnold actually didn't play. I don't know if it was because of an injury or he got benched by this guy, Ashton Daniels. But this guy, Ashton Daniels, man, he's a senior, 185 yards of passing, 0 touchdowns, no interceptions. He might have just been the backup. He went 13 for 28 with 1 interception. At the end of the day, man, it was just not a good game for them. It's not been a good season for them. And honestly, man, I don't see nobody else on their schedule that they can win against. There's nobody else. The only team that I think that you can beat at this point is Mercer, and Mercer is 7-1. So Mercer might beat you. So I don't know. You got Vanderbilt next weekend. You got Mercer, then you got Alabama. Now, we obviously know that Vanderbilt is doing very well, and you're not going to beat Vanderbilt, and you are obviously not going to beat Alabama. But like I said, Mercer is 7-1. You know what I mean? So Mercer got a good chance of beating you too. So I don't know if you have any games on the rest of this schedule to win. So I know for the Auburn fans, it's been hectic for them. Just hearing all the talk. Some of the people that's riding with Hugh Freeze, I know they probably upset, and the ones that's not riding with Hugh Freeze, obviously they're upset, and they're probably glad that he is fired from the team. And my thing is, for him to say that we find ways to lose games and with no real explanation behind it, it's just crazy to me, especially in the press conference after losing to Georgia. It's like he really didn't have no answers, and that's really bad for a head coach to not really have a lot of answers. I know you're upset, I know you're mad, but to not have any answers to why, you're losing games or you're finding a way to lose games is terrible, right? So that's my biggest thing with Hugh Freeze, that he didn't have an explanation to what was going on with this team. But let's talk about penalties also, because these guys are horrible with penalties. Let's get to it. Here we go. So first game of the season, man, Baylor, they won that game 38-24. They had 9 penalties against Baylor. You know what I mean? Then they went over and played Ball State, won that game 42-3. They had 8 penalties. South Alabama, they won that game 31-15 with 4 penalties. But what trips me out is these next 3 games, the games that really matter, the games that you want to try to win. You lost every last one of those games, which starting with Oklahoma, you lost 17-24 with 13 penalties. Then you turn around the next week, you lost to Texas 10-16 with 10 penalties. And then you turn around the next week and play Georgia, you lose 10-20 and you up to 11 penalties. Those 3 games, you have to be perfect in those 3 games. Now I know it's hard to be perfect in those games, but at the end of the day, man, you cannot win these games when you having these many penalties in these games. And I think they said they had like 10 false starts in the last 3 games that they had played. So that's crazy to me. You know what I'm saying? It's mind blowing. You know, maybe, and most of those games was on the road also. So, you know, the crowd can have an effect on them when it comes to that also. And then you got Missouri. You lose to Missouri 17-23 with 4 penalties. You win against Arkansas, obviously the only SEC team you do win against, and you win 33-24 with 4 penalties. And Kentucky, you obviously lost to Kentucky 3-10 with 4 penalties. So this team is not very good with pretty much anything. You know, game plan, you know, they're very high when it comes to good teams in the SEC when it comes to the penalties. So this team right here needed a change. They needed a reboot, and it's a good thing that they did end up firing Hugh Freeze. All in all, man, I think it's a good thing for Auburn. I think it's a good thing for Hugh Freeze also. Even with being fired, I know his stress level is probably a whole lot lesser than what it was this season. You know, you still got 3 games that you got a big possibility of losing, and I know his stress level would be through the roof if he was to lose to Mercer. And like I said, Mercer is 7-1, so they got a big possibility that they would win against Auburn. Then you got Alabama, and you got Vanderbilt, so you know you're not gonna win those 2 games. So at the end of the day, man, kudos to Auburn for firing this guy. I know a lot of the fan base probably want to change, and they probably feel like they need a reset or a reboot, and that's definitely what they need. Hopefully they can get somebody up in there that can try to turn that program around. So at the end of the day, it is what it is. I didn't want to make this video long, so I'm gonna head on out, man. Y'all already know what it is. I'm your host, Major, and this is the Doghouse. And y'all stay tuned for Saturday, man. Saturday's game against Mississippi State, man. You know I will be live for that. Go Dogs.